Welcome to a brand new explainer series. This is The Secret of the Old Classroom, Episode 1. And today, we're diving straight into a story about things hidden right in plain sight. You know the ones, right? The things that have been there the whole time, but everyone walks past them so often, they completely stop seeing them. Which is, of course, exactly how things get lost. So over the course of this explainer, we're going to explore the incredible power of noticing what everyone else ignores, and what happens when you finally stop to listen.
But first, I want you to really think about your own everyday world for a second. Have you ever wondered what's hiding behind the doors you walk past every single day? I mean, seriously, think about your own school, or maybe your local library, or your apartment building. Are there hallways you literally never go down? Closets that are always locked? What invisible mysteries are just sitting there, completely ignored, waiting for someone to finally pay attention? Well, that burning question is the exact spark that kicks off our story today.
Chapter 1, The Invisible Door at Lincoln Middle School. Okay, so here's our totally ordinary world. Meet our trio of incredibly curious students, Ethan, Maya, and Claire. Every single day, they navigate the totally ordinary, predictably mundane east corridor of their middle school. Just a regular hallway filled with lockers, classrooms, and scuffed floors. Nothing special. But at the very end of that east corridor,
there was a door. And slapped right on it was a sign that read, "Storage, do not enter." If you looked really closely, you'd see the sign was so incredibly old that the corners had turned completely yellow. The door itself was this heavy wood, but honestly, you wouldn't even know it. It had been painted over so many times that the natural grain had vanished. It was entirely buried under thick, heavy layers of boring, institutional beige paint. It looked like it hadn't been opened in absolutely decades.
400. Yep, 400. That is approximately how many times Ethan had walked past this very door without giving it a single thought. 400 times. And honestly, can you blame him? That's the crazy thing about abandoned places inside familiar buildings. They physically train your eye to just slide right past them. It's like how your brain automatically learns to filter out background noise so you don't get overwhelmed. To Ethan, Maya, Claire, and literally everyone else at Lincoln Middle School, this wasn't even a door anymore. It had become nothing more than wallpaper.
Until one afternoon, Ethan was walking down that east corridor all by himself, and he heard something. It wasn't loud, it wasn't some crazy alarm ringing, it was just present. A faint, rhythmic tapping coming from right behind that heavy wooden door. It was irregular. It didn't sound like a machine actively moving, but more like something inside had shifted. It was a total anomaly, something that absolutely did not belong in an empty, forgotten storage closet. And this is where the mystery becomes undeniably real. Ethan stops dead in his tracks and just listens. Maya happens to be walking past, and she sees him totally frozen in the middle of the corridor. "What?" she asks him, but Ethan doesn't say a word. He just slowly raises his hand and points toward the door. Maya listens. The hallway is dead quiet. And then, a few seconds later, she hears it too. That same faint, rhythmic tapping. They aren't imagining it. They are experiencing this bizarre anomaly together. So, they did what any truly curious people would do. They started asking questions, but they immediately smacked right into the adult view. They go to the school custodian, Mr. Hendricks. He's friendly enough, but he tells them the room has been locked since before he even started working at the school. "I don't have a key," he says. "It's probably just a pipe or the HVAC system." Now, his answer was technically complete, but his expression, total deadpan. It was the flat, tired face of someone who had considered this question a long time ago, set it down, and never intended to pick it back up. But the kids' view, entirely different. They don't hear a pipe, they hear a rhythmic tapping. They see a mystery that someone simply stopped asking about. Later that afternoon, on the walk to the bus, Maya realized something pretty profound. She said, "A locked door isn't an answer. It's a question someone decided to stop asking." I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Mr. Hendricks saw a locked door, decided he didn't have the key, and accepted it as the final answer. End her story. But Maya brilliantly realizes that a locked door is just a barrier. It's hiding a question that people simply got too tired or maybe too busy to keep asking. And this brings us to a really crucial idea for our explainer today: intelligent curiosity. It's not just having an appetite for information or memorizing a bunch of facts. No, it is noticing what others have stopped noticing. It's a flat-out refusal to accept the unexplained as unremarkable. Think about it. Most locked doors in life have been locked for so long that everyone just stops wondering what's behind them.
But the people who actually change things in this world, the inventors, the explorers, the real problem solvers, they are almost always the ones who keep wondering about the exact things everyone else ignores.
As they stood outside, Ethan looked back at the large brick building of Lincoln Middle School. And with this look of pure determination, he turned to Maya and said, "Then maybe it's time to start asking it again." And that is exactly what Ethan, Maya, and Claire are going to do. Now, we know from our sources that in the next part of this explainer, a piece of paper that shouldn't even exist is going to give their investigation its first real direction. But before we get there, I have a big question for all of you watching. What locked door in your world are you curious about? What's something in your everyday environment that you've stopped noticing that might be worth a second look? I want you to hit that subscribe button to Story Spark Studio right now, ring the bell so you don't miss episode 2, and leave a comment below telling me all about your locked door. Keep wondering, keep asking questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.